let us see case 3. So here, electrolysis of aqueous solution using active electrodes. Electrolysis of aqueous solution using active electrode. We know that generally we have two types of electrodes. One is the inert electrode and one is the active electrode. So far that we have discussed about the inert electrodes only. That is in presence of platinum electrodes. Mostly in electrolysis case we use platinum electrode as the inert electrode. And active electrodes. Inert electrode anyhow there is no chemical reaction with respect to the ions. But active electrodes case the electrodes also can undergo some chemical change. They can undergo the chemical reactions. First one. Aqueous copper sulfate in presence of copper electrode. So far discussed with the platinum only. Now tell me in this case when you use copper electrode what happens? Again we have copper 2 plus ion. So 4 2 minus ion. Then aqueous means H plus ion. And this is OH minus ion. Actually, according to the previous discussion at anode, oxidation and cathode reduction among these two, sulfate ion and OH minus ion, we know that OH minus ion should give the oxygen. They should liberate the oxygen gas by liberating electrons. At cathode, and you have copper 2 plus. You should take up electrons and you should give the copper. This is a general thing as like according to the previous discussion. But here in case of aqueous copper sulfate, the electrode is a copper electrode. Means how it looks like the electrolytic cell here. It is little different than the previous. Here both anodes and cathodes are copper electrodes. And we have used a copper sulfate solution and we are using both anode and cathode. And these two are copper electrodes. These are active electrodes. When you use these electrodes, what happens? Again, you check exact chemical reactions by using the electrode potential values. First at anode, what type of reactions actually can take place at anode? Anode means oxidation. You have the sulfate ion and oxygen. OH minus ion. OH minus ion anyhow it can come from water. So you can take the reactions. First sulfate. When it undergo oxidation, it can give S2OH 2 minus plus 2 electrons. But in this case, the reduction potential value is minus 2.01. The second reaction can take place. If you take water, it can liberate oxygen gas, OH plus 4 electrons. And whose the reduction potential value? Sorry, oxidation potential value. This is anodic reaction. And whose oxidation potential value? Minus 1.2. Already this we have discussed. But one more possibility also there, that is at anode oxidation of copper also can take place. Why? Because and this copper electrode is active electrode, it can undergo some chemical reaction. If it undergo oxidation, what happens? The oxidation potential of copper is minus 0.24. And these kind of chemical reactions can take place at anode. And as we know that in the ion or electrode which is having more oxidation potential value, and that chemical reactions can take place. Here first one minus 2.01 minus 1.23, this is minus 0.34. So this reaction, in this case we have more oxidation potential value, so this reaction can take place preferably at anode instead of these first two reactions. Means what? Instead of liberating oxygen gas or this sulfate ion, peroxide disulfide anion, copper can dissolve in the solution and produce the copper 2+ ions when you use copper active electrode. Similarly at cathode. What happens at cathode? You have the copper 2+ ions and the water. As usual, copper 2+ ions will take up electrons and whose reduction can form copper and whose reduction potential value, that is plus 0.34. So this is oxidation potential, but this is the reduction potential. This is for cathode. Anyhow, we know that for water case reduction potential value is negative only. To liberate hydrogen gas, reduction potential value minus 0.83 volts. So anyhow, again reduction potential, cathode, the ion which is having more reduction potential value can deposit. So this first reaction can take place preferably over the second reaction according to their electrode potential values. So overall what happens when you use aqueous copper sulfate with active electrodes? At anode, copper dissolves and it will be converted into the copper 2+ ions. And at a cathode, what happens? Copper 2+ ion deposits. Means what? The liberated copper 2+ ions can give copper 2. Copper 2+ to copper. This type of chemical reactions can take place. Means when you use this electrolytic cell with active electrodes copper, and this is copper anode and cathode, when you use some electrolytic solution CuSO4, here anode only will dissolve. This copper only can give copper 2+ ions, and these copper 2+ ions will move towards cathode and they can deposit there. So there is no change with the electrolytic concentration. Only anode will dissolve and that can deposit it at cathode. So mass of anode will decrease and the mass of cathode will increase, but there is no change in the concentration of copper sulfate solution. The previous case, the mass will change, but here it doesn't. So mostly this type of technique we can use in the purification of copper, electrometallurgy technique. So here, no change in the concentration of electrolyte. The concentration of copper 2+ ions remains the same in the solution. So only copper anode, the amount of anode decreases and amount of cathode increases. Hence it is used in the refining technique or purification. This technique is used in refining of copper or purification of copper. Why? How can we use this one? If we take impure copper as an anode and pure copper as a cathode, then what happens? Impure copper, it can give pure ions, copper 2+ ions. Those copper 2+ ions only can move towards cathode, and any impurities present in this anodic rod, that can be deposited as an anodic mud. So you will get pure form of the copper. This is called refining process. Mostly in case of metallurgy, Anyhow, we will discuss the copper metallurgy at this refining process. Okay, second example. Aqueous silver nitrate by using silver electrode. Here silver electrode is a active electrode. Then what happens? Just like previous only, anyhow the solution contains now Ag plus, NO3 minus, H plus and OH minus. Anyhow, among these two, the competition NO3 minus and OH minus, oxygen should liberate, and among these two, the competition H plus. Anyhow, silver will deposit. But at anode, what are the reactions at anode? Instead of liberation of oxygen, due to the presence of this active electrode silver will dissolve, and at cathode the silver ions will get deposited. Same just like the previous. We'll take the electrolytic cell, and this is made up of silver electrodes. Both are silvers only. And this is cathode and this is anode. Here silver will dissolve in an electrolytic solution of its own ion, AgNO3 solution. Here silver will dissolve and it can give Ag plus ions, and those ions move towards cathode and they can deposit over there. Again, there is no change with respect to the NO3 minus ions, H plus ions and OH minus ions. Again, same in this case also, the concentration of electrolyte remains same. Concentration of electrolyte remains the same. Only the amount of anode will decrease and cathode amount will increase. Again, same, we can use this for the purification of silver. This technique is used for purification of silver. Silver metal purification. One more third example. Aqueous sodium chloride. That is a brine solution in presence of active electrode. So far we have discussed NaCl with a platinum electrode. Here let me take active electrode, mercuric electrode. When you use mercuric active electrode, what happens? Aqueous NaCl. So here we have the ions. So again, Na plus, Cl minus, H plus and OH minus. At anode, anyhow, at anode we have the Cl minus and OH minus. So there is no sodium here. As usual, due to the over voltage, first Cl minus ion will move towards anode. We will liberate there as a chlorine gas. At cathode, any problem will come at cathode, but actually hydrogen should liberate at cathode. But when you use mercuric electrode, the liberation of hydrogen at mercuric electrode is very laborious in nature, very laser. Again, it required more discharge potential values. Means we required over voltage. Again, the concept of over voltage required involved here. It is kinetically not favorable, the liberation of hydrogen at mercuric electrode. So, due to the over voltage, by supplying of extra energy, the sodium ions can move very easily towards the mercury, and also the sodium ions will get deposited at mercury and they can form the sodium amalgam. It can react with the mercury and can form sodium amalgam. So that is the reason instead of hydrogen, sodium plus can take electrons and it may deposit at mercuric electrode and it can form this sodium amalgam alloy. Again, due to over potential, the same concept. So the liberation of hydrogen over the mercuric electrode, we require the extra potential. There is over potential or over voltage. and also sodium can be deposited at the mercury and it can form sodium amalgam alloy. Three important cases. Mostly we'll get the questions from these active metal electrodes with the copper sulfate, silver nitrate and brine solution with mercury. Next, one more case here. When you use very dilute solutions and your electrolysis of very dilute aqueous sodium chloride by using platinum electrode, inert electrode. If nothing mentioned means we assume that is a inert electrode. If they mention specified, then we can go that there is active electrode, whatever it is. If nothing mentioned, you can say it is a inert electrode or platinum electrode most of the cases.
Sir, once you have, sir.
Now see electrolysis of very dilute aqueous sodium chloride. Again, very dilute aqueous sodium chloride means what? You have very lesser amount of Na plus ions and less amount indicates less amount Na plus and Cl minus ions available in the electrolytic solutions. Then H plus and OH minus ions. This concentration is more. The availability of H plus and OH minus is more compared to the Na plus and Cl minus. Ultimately, when you apply some electric current, so these ions will responsible. Why? Because the collisions can take place effectively between these two than these. Why? Because they are having very less in number. So at anode oxidation, instead of Cl minus here, OH minus will move towards anode and it will liberate oxygen. At a cathode, anyhow, as usual, H plus only can move and liberates hydrogen. Only one exception with the Cl minus. Due to the availability of less number of Cl minus ions, OH minus. That means water can liberate oxygen instead of chlorine. At this point also you should remember when you take very dilute aqueous solution. The last one, electrolysis of aqueous sulfuric acid. This is the electrolysis of aqueous sulfuric acid. Again, sulfuric acid has ions H plus, SO4 2 minus and OH. Only we have the competition between the OH minus and SO4 2 minus and cation is constant. Only one H plus is there. So at cathode, hydrogen liberates all the cases, but at anode what happens? That depends on the condition. First one, again in case of aqueous H2SO4 special cases, when you use normal dilute H2SO4. When you use dilute H2SO4, in that case anode, there is a competition between SO4 2 minus and OH minus. As usual, according to the previous knowledge, OH minus can liberate. Then oxygen gas can liberate. A cathode, only H plus is there, it can give hydrogen. But the second one, when you use high concentrated H2SO4 instead of dilute H2SO4, if you use high concentrated H2SO4, then what happens? At anode, there are two reactions, OH minus and SO4 2 minus, but high concentration means there is a more availability of sulfate ions. So instead of OH minus, in this case, sulfate ions can deposit. SO4 2 minus ions can be deposited as S2OH 2 minus, peroxy disulfate anion ion. So this reaction can take place instead of the first reaction. Instead of liberation of oxygen, liberation of this anion can take place when you use high concentrated sulfuric acid. And this process also mostly we can use for the preparation of Marshall acid. Generally, this is the ion can come from H2S2OH. This is a Marshall's acid. or peroxydisulfuric acid. Marshall acid or peroxydisulfuric acid. So for this preparation we can use this technique. Third case. And here again cathode constant, only hydrogen is there. Hydrogen can liberate at cathode, no issue with that. And a case 3. When you use 50% aqueous H2SO4. In that case, both reactions can take place. We have considerable amount of sulfate and considerable amount of OH minus. So at anode, OH minus can liberate oxygen, and also sulfate can liberate can give SO4 2 minus ions. So both reactions can take place at anode if you use 50% of H2SO4. Again, cathode reaction as usual, common liberation of hydrogen. Again, these 3 points you should remember with respect to the H2SO4. When you use dilute condition, high concentration condition, and 50% of aqueous H2SO4. So the most frequently used application organic chemistry of this electrolysis process is Kolbe electrolysis. So what is a Kolbe electrolysis? If you take sodium salts of carboxylic acids and that if you do the electrolysis, you will get the formation of alkanes. Let me take one example here. Sodium acetate, aqueous sodium acetate if you take, and it can give the ions, acetate ion and Na plus ion. Apart from this, we have as usual H plus and OH minus. Now, if you pass electric current, if you do the electrolysis, what happens? At anode, oxidation, at cathode, reduction. So the chemical reactions can take place at anode. The acetate ion will move towards anode. Then it can liberate electrons and form the radical. So 2 electrons it can liberate, it can form 2 molecules can form 2 radicals, and this can split further. This molecule will break here, it liberates the carbon dioxide with the releasing of methyl radical, and these 2 methyl radical will combine each other and it can form ethane. So this kind of chemical reactions can take place at anode. Means liberation of carbon dioxide and liberation of ethane. But at cathode, and this H plus ion can give hydrogen, and we have the solution left with Na plus and OH minus. It can form Na. So overall, after electrolysis, the resultant solution will get basic in nature, the formation of NaOH. So what are the overall products here? When sodium acetate undergoes electrolysis, this is aqueous, it can form ethane and carbon dioxide, and these 2 can liberate at anode, and hydrogen, sodium hydroxide. This is possible at cathode. Again, this reaction very important for further numerical calculations. The questions can be asked how much amount of ethane liberated or how much amount of carbon dioxide liberated by passing some X amount of current. Then what is the only carbon dioxide or what are the gases liberated at anode or cathode? This type of numerical limit. This is overall about the qualitative electrolysis. Means what type of substances will get at corresponding electrodes. This is the first part in, you can say, electrolytic cell.